Hello and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Ray and I live in Edinburgh and I'm a knitter and a sewer, although today I'm only talking about knitting. And this is my little space on YouTube where I just get comfy and chat about what I've been making recently. So today I'm going to be talking a bit about some works in progress. I've got a finished object, small one, but it's I think a sweet one. And I'm going to share a couple of poems, which I do every time I podcast. I'm a poet, a writer, that's kind of my day job. I write children's books and poetry. And so I always share a couple of poems, one at the start and one at the end of each episode. And just short ones, and usually not by me. They're not by me today. So yes, hello, welcome. I hope you have a nice time sitting chatting with me today. It's really lovely to be here. I have a bunch of stuff to share and a few acquisitions to share. I'm going to say right at the start that actually I've been having a quite tough couple of weeks. I think that many of us have, lots of events in the world have been really difficult, and that's kind of been like this background level of stress. I don't know if stress is the word, or sadness and horror, and it's all so much. And then lots of my personal stuff has been tricky as well, so then you pile that all together and it just has meant it's been a bit of a sad few weeks and a difficult few weeks, which is why I want to sit here today and just talk about knitting, because I find that knitting and watching knitting podcasts and sitting with my knitting watching the knitting podcast is kind of my way of self-soothing in a way. It's a really simple, straightforward, creative and beautiful thing that is really peaceful and helps me get through difficult times, difficult moods, times when I'm not sure what to make of the world and my place in it. So all that to say that the poems that I've chosen today are two poems by Adrian Mitchell, who was a poet and an activist who was a pacifist and wrote a lot about war and violence and the big difficult things that in the world that affected him deeply. And he did a lot of protest and action and activism to try and make the world a better place, and he wrote about that a lot. So that's the reason why I chose those two poems, which I know might seem a little jarring, but I hope you'll get what I mean when I share them with you. So yeah, not poems about knitting in any way today, and not nice nature poems, which is often what I share because I really like nature and nature poems. It's pretty much what I write a lot of the time. But these, they're important poems, and they're poems that have meant a lot to me since I was a teenager. I hope you really enjoy them. So I'm going to start off with one of his most famous poems. It's called Human Beings. Look at your hands. Your beautiful, useful hands. You're not an ape. You're not a parrot. You're not a slow loris or a smart missile. You're human. Not British, not American, not Israeli, not Palestinian. You're human. Not Catholic, not Protestant, not Muslim, not Hindu. You're human. We all start human. We end up human. Human first, human last. We're human or we're nothing. Nothing but bombs and poison gas. Nothing but guns and torturers. Nothing but slaves of greed and war if we're not human. Look at your body with its amazing systems of nerve wires and blood canals. Think about your mind, which can think about itself and the whole universe. Look at your face, which can freeze into horror or melt into love. Look at all that life, all that beauty. You're human. They are human. We are human. Let's try to be human. dance. Love that little dog that joined in. That was really sweet. Okay, so that's a poem that I've been turning to a lot lately, and I don't know if it will mean anything to you, but I hope it brings you something, even if it was just something interesting to listen to before we start chatting about the knitting, which we're going to do now. So in typical podcast fashion, I'll start by talking about what I'm wearing. I always think of this as my ladybird cardigan, but I think that's not the name of it, the official name of it, but it's obviously got ladybirds on it. It's by Mona Zilla, and I'll put the actual name in the description along with anything else that I mentioned today. So this is an Aran weight cardigan. I don't know if I can stand up a bit to show you. That I knitted a while back, so maybe you've seen it on the podcast before. It's got a bit of colour work on the yoke. It's steeked. I knit this in alpaca in drops Nepal, which is alpaca and wool blend, I think. So it was a bit slippery. I had to really reinforce the steek when I cut it, and then you pick up and knit this button band. You should have buttons on, and I do have some ladybird buttons for this, but I didn't sew them on very well and they were coming loose, so I've taken them off. And actually I haven't got around to putting them back on again, because mostly I wear this jumper in the house like a big hug, like a dressing gown. So it's just not had the buttons put on yet. The colour work is done. Some of them have 3 colours to a round, and you can knit those with 3 colours to a round, or you can embroider the 3rd colour on afterwards by duplicate stitching. And I did kind of a mix. I think for this bit I did 3 colours to a row, and for this spots I duplicate stitched, and I duplicate stitched the red and I think the green down here in the flowers. Yeah, it's a really, really soft cardigan that I love to wear. It's getting a bit warm to wear it, but I am always cold, so I wear it nonetheless around the house especially. Yeah, Scotland never really gets warm enough that you don't have to wear jumpers and you can put them away for any length of time. So yeah, it is pilling a lot, but I don't really mind. I quite like pills. I like anything that shows a sign that something's been worn and loved and used, like when you get older books that are all dog-eared and the pages are all crumpled, or they've been dropped in the bath even and they're falling to pieces. I think those are the best. It reminds me of in the book The Velveteen Rabbit, the children's book, when the rabbit becomes real and he doesn't mind that his clothing, that his fur is all tattered and that he's sagging, because he's real now, because he's been so loved. I don't know if you've not read The Velveteen Rabbit, that maybe doesn't mean much to you, but the idea behind it is that toys can become real, like little toy stuffed animals can become real when they're really loved by the child who owns them, and when they've been so loved and so used and so worn, then they become real. And that's kind of how I feel about anything that gets really loved and worn, including pilled knitwear. Anything that's scruffy and used. I love it. Okay, so that is what I'm wearing, and I want to talk now about my first finished object, and my only finished object, and it's a special one because it's my own design. It's a really little design, just a baby garment, and I've knit this sample one. I'm going to give it to my friend who has just had a baby. I'm going to give it to her little boy as a gift, but so this is the newborn size, which is very small, and because it's kind of the summery time, I've knitted it in cotton. So here it is, without any further ado. Here is the little baby cardigan. You can see there's the back and the front. So you can see it has this little mushroom design. It has moss stitch edges. It's knit flat but in kind of one piece up to the sleeves, so it's bottom up, and then split for the sleeves, and then there's raglan decreases for the sleeves, so the sleeves are also knit up and then all joined together from here on up. It's knit together. And it's a 4-ply. I've knit this in drops saffron, which is just a 4-ply cotton yarn, 100% cotton. It could just as easily be knit in wool. And this is the newborn size, but I have actually written up the pattern and graded it for sizes up to 2 years. and I'm going to be putting out a call for testers to test it so that I can release it. And I think that by the time this video goes up, that call for testers should be live, so I'll again put a link to that. If you'd like to testnet this for me, I'd be really grateful, so I can get an idea of just that the pattern is working and makes sense, get some feedback on it before I release it, which is really exciting. It's really exciting to think that it might be released into the world, a little pattern, and little babies might be wearing a thing that I designed. It's really sweet. So another thing about the pattern is this mushroom design isn't the only motif that is in the pattern. There's a couple of little alternatives which you can use, which you can just substitute in. They're all kind of vaguely woodland themed because that's what I love. My happy place is out in the woods. So yeah. But you can see if you want to testnet, you're very welcome, but otherwise there'll be some sample pictures of when the pattern's released of the different motifs that you can knit the cardigan with. So yeah, this is my little baby cardigan. And that's been a very lovely, sweet thing to make. It's really nice. I was working on the knitting of this cardigan while the mum, whose name is Rachel, like me, although I tend to go by Ray. While the mum was in labour, I was knitting on it, and I finished it not long after we had the call that the baby had been born, and that was really special. I tried to put all of my love and good hopes and good wishes into it while I was knitting it, and I just hope that that baby Sam has a really lovely life and a really beautiful childhood. So I'm going to pass that on this weekend to them, and that's very nice. Okay, so moving on from that to some works in progress. I'm going a little bit quick this week because I only have a couple of works in progress and because I'm trying to get everything done before my son comes home from school. But yeah, so I will start with this shawl that I've been working on, and this is the green tea shawl. You can see it's got these leaves on it. I'm actually fairly nearly done. It's quite big. I'm knitting it in this double knitting wool, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it is, and I've lost the label. But a friend of mine had it dyed, like commissioned it to be dyed for me as a thank you because I taught her children in my creative writing class. And we spent a lot of time in the woods, and the particular part of in the woods nearby here, which I really love, we like to sit, and we've made like a fire circle under a big beech tree. And so she asked for the yarn to be dyed in the same colours as the beech tree in summer, when you look up and see the sunlight through the leaves and they're really green. So that's what this pattern was. So I thought I had to knit something with leaves on to show this off. It's actually looking really nice on the thing. I think lace comes into its own after it's been blocked, so it won't look at its full best until I've blocked it, but and will also grow a lot. So there were 2 skeins. This is double knitting weight. It's, I think, just a superwash wool, and yeah, it's going to be really, really lovely, I think. So I'm nearly at the end. I think I just have one more kind of leaf repeat to do, and then it goes on to the border. So I'm not sure. I think I maybe could eke out another repeat or 2 of the leaves, but I don't want to run out, and I know that the border can take a lot of yarn. This is probably about 3/4, maybe more like 2/3 of the second skein that I've got left here, and I just want to make sure that I have enough to finish it and not be stressed about running out of yarn, because obviously there's no more of this. It's like a one-off commission. So, and I can't even remember who it was that dyed it, which is really bad, but I will try to remember, or find if maybe I put it in my Ravelry, in which case I'll put it down below. It's such a beautiful colour, and yeah, I'm loving this project. I've been working on this project a lot because I feel like in the summer shawls are a really nice portable project to take around, and we've been out and about a lot with the kids, going to the seaside, going to the woods, going to different things, and this is a nice light thing for me to carry and work on and have on my lap and not be too warm. Yeah, this is my green tea, and the pattern is Green Tea by Mia Rind. It's a gorgeous pattern, an absolutely lovely pattern. It's been on my queue for a long time, so I'm really pleased that I've been able to knit it up. So yeah, this is my green tea project. The next project I will talk about is, I only have the sleeves for it. It's the pattern is the Autumn Pullover. It's by Nazilia Zemdikanova. So here are the two sleeves finished, and I just need to cast on and do the body now. I've just put these both on the same needle so I don't lose them. This is knit in Alafoslopi. It's going to be a big, thick autumn winter kind of pullover. I'm making it for my friend. So it's really nice and big and thick, and very excited to get onto the yoke because the yoke has got some really nice colour work on it, and I've been so much in the mood for colour work lately. I can't stand it. I've been doing so much textural stuff, which is what I wanted because I love knitting colour work, and I knit a lot of colour work. It's my number one go-to thing to knit. But I think I got a bit burned out on it, so I've been doing lots of texture, and now I'm fed up, and I want to do more colour work again. I want something really complicated. I've got my eye on a Marie Wallen pattern or two that I can't wait to do. In fact, some of these yarns that you can see, like these ones here, are just waiting for it to be in the Lovage cardigan by pullover by Marie Wallen. And I've been looking at all of the lovely Marie Wallen things you can find on like some of the knit along, like the Knitting with Cat Hair, Marie Wallen knit along. Knitting with Cat Hair is an amazing podcast. If you don't watch it, you probably already do, but definitely worth watching. And I've been seeing the things that she's been making, and I'm jealous. I want to work on something fussy and complicated, and I can't wait to get started. But I've got to finish some of these current projects first. So this is something that I'm just working on slowly and ticking along on because I want to get it done for this autumn for my friend. So there's no huge rush. I've got a few months, but it's a nice, cozy, comforting project to work on. And the final work in progress that I'm going to talk about is the absolutely mad one. It's the Chunky Dahlia by Lena Holmes Samso, which is a beautiful, beautiful pattern. But I've just chosen a bit of a mad yarn for it. So this is what I've got so far. Look at that. So I'm working on the sleeves. I had a bit of a delay because I had to wait for more yarn to arrive. So this is a beautiful top-down pattern with a bit of this leaf lace at the yoke. It's got a folded over collar, which is really lovely actually. It's so squishy. And it's knit in quite chunky needles. I'm knitting them on 6.5mm needles, I think. So it is, but I think it uses 7mm needles officially. But I always tend to go down at least a size or half size. So I got this yarn from Aliexpress, which is a website where you can order things from places from like China. It's often really cheap and doesn't have the best descriptions of what you're ordering. And so I ordered the yarn, and it's all like you order a batch of 5 and it's all the same colour, but it came and it really wasn't. Like, I don't know if it's even the dye lots, but like all the different balls were really different colours to each other. So I've just knit with it, and I haven't like tried to fade them in and out because it just wouldn't work. The colours are so different, as you can see the different sections and how different the colours are to each other. And like look on the sleeves how light this one is. So I'm just going with it and I'm embracing it, and this is just going to be like a casual pullover that I'm going to wear in the woods, and I feel like it makes me really happy how imperfect it is, and so I'm embracing it. And every time I cast on, I add in a new ball and it's a completely different colour. It just makes me giggle, and I'm loving it. And I think I said last time that if I'd paid a lot of money for this yarn and it was a really good quality yarn from like a reputable company, I would be maybe more frustrated and disappointed, but it definitely wasn't. So this yarn is called Yak Wool. It is, I translated this last time and I can't remember what it was. It's a mix of wool, acrylic and yak wool and something else. And yeah, so it is just a mix of things. It doesn't have, I did translate this, but it's in Chinese, it's not in English. I think it's in Mandarin, but I'm not sure about that because I don't speak Mandarin. I just use my phone's like Google Lens to try and translate it, and that's what it said it was. So again, it could be wrong. I have no idea. So Yak Wool, and it was dead cheap. It was like less than £10, including postage, for a pack of 5. And this jumper, I used all 5 on the body, and I bought another set of 5 for the sleeves. So altogether it will have cost me like £16 or £17, and it is really cozy and very soft and squishy. And the yarn, actually, I think it's quite nice, quite like it. And yeah, so yeah, although it is very mismatched and random, and it's not showing up the colour very well either, it's like just a dark foresty green. And it just makes me really happy. So that's my last work in progress that I can talk about. So I also have my secret test, which is nearly done. I've done the body, I've done one sleeve, I just have the other sleeve to go, and that won't take me so long, I think. But oh, it's hard not being able to show it. It is stunning. I'm so delighted with how it's turned out, and I wish I could show it. I think it would show up so beautifully on the camera as well, and I will be able to eventually, but not until next year. Next year! It's trying my patience so much, so I can't show it to you at all, or show you the yarn, or really talk much about it, but it's beautiful. I really, really like it. I'm not completely sure how much it suits me and my body shape, but that being said, just looking at it now, I can see it over on my sofa. It is so beautiful. Oh my goodness, it is so gorgeous. And yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to show you and tell you all about it when it comes out. It's due in the spring of next year, so hopefully I'll be able to show you and tell you about it in the spring, which will be really, really nice. But it's been a very fiddly, long-winded project. I'm on the easy bit now. The sleeves are the easier bit, and they go a lot quicker. I'm looking forward to it being done. It's not been a project that I've enjoyed the process of super much, but I'm really, really delighted with the finished product. It is just the fabric that I've knitted, if that makes sense. The fabric in this, that you knit in this project, is so gorgeous. I just can't get enough of it. It's really lovely. So I'm really pleased with how that's going, and it will be finished really soon. So that's very exciting. Yeah, so to finish up, I'm just going to show you a couple of quick acquisitions, or things that I've bought. As I said, I've been having a bit of a miserable couple of weeks, and one of the things I've been trying to do is spend a bunch of time lately with my daughter Audrey, who's 11. We've been doing some nice trips together and spending some quality time together, and we popped into a yarn shop, and she was there enabling and encouraging me, and she loves to put together different colours, and she can knit herself, but she's mostly more interested in my knitting. So she was putting together these colours that she thought went together really well, and I couldn't resist. So I bought these 3 skeins of BC Garn Bio Balance, which is 55% pure organic wool and 45% pure organic cotton. And she chose these 3 colours to go together. Sorry, the pink is there from this skeining up. So these 3 colours, the sort of brownish colour here, which is a bit maybe warmer than is shown on here, and the blue, and this charcoaly grey. And I just think they are really subtle and elegant together, and I'm thinking that these 3 maybe would go well in a shawl with a little bit of simple colour work in it. I'm not really sure what pattern. I've still got to look some up and get some ideas, but if you have an idea, please let me know in the comments. I would love to look up your suggestions and see what you think I should make with these. I think these are really nice, and these are such lovely. The yarn feels beautiful. It's fingering weight, and yeah, just really nice. So that was the fresh one, and the second one that I got is this, also from BC Garn, from this shop. Ooh, fluff on it. Oh, and hair on everything. And these 3 are, this is the BC Garn Bio Shetland, which is 100% pure organic wool, and it's in these 3 colours, which are really in the same colour family. And again, I would like to make a shawl with these, something in lace, and I want to kind of fade from one to another. Not like a proper fade, but like a sort of gentle fade. I don't know which way around I would have it, maybe like that, and one to the other. And use these 3 colours. Willow, don't scratch the sofa! Sorry, my cat Willow is scratching the sofa. You think you can get away with it because I'm distracted? Hello. So yeah. Again, if you have suggestions, let me know. This is again fingering weight. I'm in the mood for shawls lately. Shawls are a really good summer project, I think. So I think between these and these, that's me set for a summer's worth of shawl knitting. They're really different colourways, but they're both really nice. I like both of them, and I don't know whether I'll be making them for me or for gifts. Maybe more likely for gifts, because I already have a few shawls that I wear all the time. But we'll just see how it goes. And yeah, that's about me finished. And I'm going to finish up now with another poem by Adrian Mitchell. But before I do, I'll just say thank you so much for joining me. It's really hard at the moment. Everybody's having a really stressful time, or a really difficult time, where I think many of us are, even as lots of the COVID stuff is easing, and we're trying to recover from that. But there's still so much going on for a lot of us, and I think it's really important to take these little moments to sit and be calm and creative and artistic and peaceful and together. And so I really appreciate being able to do this. It's just a really nice healing thing for me. So thank you for joining me, and thank you for being here, and I hope you have a really good couple of weeks, and I'll see you again soon. So I'm going to finish with this poem. It's a poem called All the Light There Is, and it's a bit of a difficult poem in places, but it's one that I think is really beautiful and hopeful. So, all the light there is. We tossed a coin marked 2003, heads for peace, tails for war. Which shall it be? Came down tails, and I heard a voice. Welcome to the monster zoo. We're going to unlock all the cages and save democracy for you. And out will march monsters, whose work is war. Their hearts are hot as the planet's core. For power and money, they murder the poor. And the air cracks into shrapnel, and the oceans turn to lead, and the earth itself is burning, and all the light is dead. Yes, the monsters are rattling their cages, their keepers are reaching for the keys, and some of us are cheering on the monsters, and some of us are down on our knees, singing, we love the light, all the light there is. Come and let's walk into the light of peace. No more war. No more war. Yes, it was heads for peace and a newborn child cuddled to its mother's breast. Of all the visions I ever saw, this vision was the best. So a new year's born. It gasps. It cries. Gather up the baby. Gaze into its eyes. Sing to the baby on the warm breast. Let the child drink peace. Let the mother rest. Singing, we love the light. All the light there is. Love is the light. All the light there is. Peace is the light. All the light there is. Come and let's walk into the light of peace. No more war. No more war. Thank you. Goodbye.